Hello everybody, and welcome to the face reading of the people in the news. For those of you who are with me today for the first time, if you get interested in the subject of face reading, you can watch my YouTube's Face Reading Introduction and Face Reading 101 Part 1 Part 2. You can also buy my book, of course, Face Reading Secrets for Successful Relationships. It is available on Amazon.com. Today we'll be talking about Oprah Winfrey, an American media proprietor, talk show host, actress, producer, and philanthropist. She's best known for her Oprah Winfrey Show, which was the highest rated television program of its kind in history. The first episode of her 30-minute morning talk show aired on January 2nd, 1984. 2 years later, by 1986, her show became the most popular show in the country. Today, her net worth is $2.8 billion. She is one of the most known people in the United States, a household name kind of. You don't need to say Oprah Winfrey, you just say Oprah and everyone knows who you are talking about. Even though most of us know her for her Oprah Winfrey Show, she starred and co-starred in 17 feature films and is one of the most generous philanthropists in America. First, we'll talk about Oprah's face, which is going to tell us about her personality, the qualities she acquired as a result of her upbringing and education. And then we'll talk about her profile, which will tell us about her temperament, the qualities she was born with, her energy type, her body type, and what really motivates her way of being from the deep within. We'll also look at some specific facial features which give us the nuances to both the temperament and personality. Let us start from the beginning. Here she is at the age of 1 and 3, a beautiful child with very sad eyes. It was a rough start indeed. She was born in Kastushka, Mississippi, to an unmarried teenage mother. After Oprah's birth, her mother traveled north, and Winfrey spent her first 6 years living in a rural poverty with her maternal grandmother. Her grandmother would hit her with a stick when she did not do chores or misbehaved in some way. And so, what do we see her face was at that time? Of course, Venus, which means resourceful, love-seeking, reconciliatory, peacemaker, needy of connectedness and attention. Then she was growing up. At the age of 6, Winfrey moved to an inner city neighborhood in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with her mother. And by the age of 8, here she is at 8, she was still, as you can see, a Venus. The eyes are no longer sad, she adapted to her environment. Here, at the age of 9 or 10, we see the cliff on her chin, meaning the sense of self-importance. She was growing into her power, which we'll talk about later. Also, we see a big space between her eyes. That means naturally kind. The wider the space between the eyes, the kinder is the nature of a person. Remember Master Yoda from the Star Wars? I don't know if the producers knew face reading, but they gave this ancient, loving, and kind master the eyes which are far apart, more than likely knowing intuitively what we know as face readers. But notice that the shape of her face was beginning to change. It was slowly becoming an oval. It was becoming a sun. And what do we know about her life at that time? At the show dedicated to sexual abuse, when Oprah was, I think, 32, she revealed that she was molested by her cousin, her uncle, and her family friend. And here she is at the age of 13, a perfect sun. And what do we know about the sun personality? One of the characteristics of the sun personality is the ability to detach. And detachment, we know in psychology, is one of the coping mechanisms for survival. But other characteristics of the sun, they are non-aggressive, they don't do things to conquer or to prove themselves or to seduce someone. they're kind of just there. Those sociable and great companies, if invited, if not invited, are just fine. Out of sight, out of mind is the way they operate. They are aloof and distant and often mistakenly perceived as arrogant, but they're not arrogant. They're simply comfortable being on their own. They form few close relationships and are very choosy who they pick as friends. A son may choose to be in a romantic relationship only when they decide it's time for them to be in one. And even then they need a lot of space and time for themselves. Someone who wants to be with a son partner all the time will make them feel suffocated, and they will quickly find a way out of this relationship. The son are good listeners, but unless asked, they don't share their ideas readily. People like to be around them because the son don't impose their ideas, and everyone usually knows that they have more to say than they say. Their mind is analytical. Like Mercury, they are capable of both having original creative ideas as well as seeing all the ideas, someone's ideas, in a new way. And as you can see, as Oprah got older, she was still a son, pretty much. And even later, at older age, pretty much still a son. So let us now look at Oprah's temperament and see who she really is underneath the persona. And when we talk about the temperament, that includes not only a person's profile, but also a body type. And when we think about Oprah's body type, of course it reminds us of her epic struggle with gaining and losing weight. Here. The struggle that continues to this day. And of course we know her as having a lymphatic body type, lymphatic temperament. Here, the flash hanging under the chin and the large heavy body, these are signs of a person being lymphatic. But was she always lymphatic? You know those kids who are chubby from young age? No, as you can see, she was not lymphatic at all. As a therapist, I have seen many women who were sexually molested as children, gaining and keeping weight, and having weight issues all their lives. And if Oprah was not naturally lymphatic, who was she? Look at her forehead and the chin. You can pretty much make a straight line. And that, as you remember, of course means that she is a bilious. But wait, what about the straight jaw and the corner going down? That means that she's also a sanguine, and here she is. The chin protruding, the corner straight, almost 90 degrees. Even though we can clearly see, as I said before, the bilious, the chin and the forehead on the same level, there is something else there I want you to pay attention to. The roundness of the bilious forehead is also slightly tilted back, right? And the chin is slightly receding, creating a bow-like appearance of her profile. And so she is what we call having a nervous cast. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a very rare profile. Very few people have all four temperaments present in one profile. As a bilious, Oprah is a natural leader, willful, bossy, long-distance runner in every possible way. She has a great energy and endurance. She is a long-term planner. She is able to keep going toward her goal without pausing and without doubt. She is active, organized, meticulous, gives attention to detail. She is what we call positive pessimist as a bilious, can always notice what's wrong in any situation, but that does not discourage her, but fuels her will to make things better. Now, but also being a lymphatic adds to her temperament the qualities of being tolerant and accepting, being a good companion without imposing her will, moral, and a person who can see a big picture, can see not only the trees but the forest, so to speak, to be a visionary. As a sanguine, Oprah is generous, courageous, is a great communicator, and willing and ready to put up a good fight if necessary. And finally, remember the nervous cast. Having the nervous cast adds to her temperament, quickness of the mind, and great creativity, sensitivity to her own feelings and to the feelings of others. Also, natural charm and the ability to be chameleon-like, to shift gears, to accommodate, to be diplomatic when needed, to be firm when it's warranted. And it is the quick mind of the nervous that helps her to shapeshift from the deep inside and access all possible expressions of all 4 human temperaments within one person. In January, Oprah Winfrey accepted the Cecil DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement at the Golden Globe. She delivered a very moving speech that brought men and women in the audience to their feet. Interesting, after the speech, a number of influential people seriously encouraged Oprah to run for president in 2020. Several Democratic strategists argued that Winfrey is one of the very few people on earth who could pull the focus of national media away from Trump in the heat of presidential campaign, or to out-Trump Trump, as one put it. There were times they were quite friendly. As recently as 2011, Oprah had the whole Trump family on her show, and among other things called Donald Trump a visionary. But times changed, I figure. And if indeed they were to meet at what could be called the battle for presidency, Donald Trump, who as we know is a sanguine pretty much, with lymphatic qualities appearing lately, would meet a formidable opponent with the power that may surprise her friends, her enemies, and even Oprah herself. So those who do not share her political views, I think, should start praying now that she does not enter the race. And that is all for Oprah Winfrey. Please click subscribe if you want to be informed when I make new postings. Thank you for being with me today. Peace to all who want to live in peace.